Hello and welcome back to the Burnt Pancakes podcast. I am your host, Katie, and today I have on Bethany, an extremely talented photographer and mom, and she is going to give us all of her tips and tricks on how to get the best family photos. You know, the one where everyone's losing their minds, you're bribing your kids with candy,
yes,
praying that they look like they love each other while inside you want to murder them. She has all of the answers. So welcome, Bethany.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad to have you on.
Love being here.
Okay, so starting off, you are a mom. So you have seen both sides of the lens, the professional and the mom side.
Yes.
How old are your kids?
My kids are 4, 3, and the twins are almost 18 months.
So we will have you on again. I really want to have you on again to talk about how to survive twin mom.
Oh my
life.
gosh. Yeah.
So we'll save that for another time. But family photos, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So you are a photographer. Bethany Jean Photography is your company. How long have you been doing this, and has this been something you've always wanted to do? What's your journey?
So it's been about 6 years, and I feel like it's kind of a complicated question that, like, no, it's not something I always wanted to do.
Oh,
but
okay.
it was in the back of my mind.
Okay.
So I was interested in photography. I was always artistic. Like, I wanted to paint. I wanted to draw. Like, I was that person who was like, I'm gonna go to France and sit on a corner and like paint everybody.
Sounds
you know,
fabulous.
like just and like listen to me, just be like a starving artist. And my parents convinced me otherwise. And I never knew exactly what I wanted to do. Like, it was just, I'm that person. I could have picked like one of 5 million things. But it was always in the back of my mind.
Okay.
So fast forward to teaching. I've been teaching for a little while. I'm married now. And I'll always remember my husband and I were walking through Best Buy. I don't even know what we were buying, but I was like, I'm going to check out the cameras. And he's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And I had never told him that I was interested in photography. And so I was like, hey, like, have I ever talked to you about this? I really like it. I've just never done anything with it, but I feel like I could. And he was like, okay, you want to buy a camera? And I was like, okay.
That's so fun to look back and pinpoint that one moment where it was
because
like, it got placed in my
heart. If the
heart.
roles were reversed, though, like, I would have been
for
like,
sure.
Yeah, that's nice. Like,
my husband all the
moving
time.
on.
I'm like, if you wanted to quit your job to start a podcast, hell no.
Yes.
Like, you are not doing that.
He's told me, like, his dream is to open up a gym. And my response was so bad. I was like, I just want to shoot that dude right now.
Stick to your day job, honey.
I was like, I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. So, yeah. He's so supportive. I wouldn't be doing this if he hadn't encouraged,
awesome.
like, that, like,
shout out to those
faith.
Supportive dads and husbands.
Yes. And
shout
he just
out.
totally, like, was like, yeah, you can do it. And I've asked him, so now that I'm like 6 years in, about 6 years in, I've asked him, like, what made you, like, how did you do that? And, like, why did you think? And he was like, I don't know, you're just the kind of person who, like, if you put your mind to something, you do it. I just knew that if you thought you could do it, you would do it.
Probably lit a fire under you too. Like, okay, he believes in me, so like, okay.
All throughout, like, every few months, I would be like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Just get in my head. And he would just be like, no, you're so good at this.
You are so good at this. Oh my gosh. What would you say is like your aesthetic, your style?
I would say that's a hard one. Because I am somewhere in the middle. There's like 2 camps in photography. Okay. There's light and airy. Okay. And then there's like dark and moody. Like that, and that's like simplifying it. Okay. But in the photographer world, you kind of like, people identify as one or the other. And when I was first learning how to edit and like figuring out my style, I couldn't decide. Like, I was just going back and forth and back and forth. And then I finally stopped like trying to put myself in a box and was just like, just edit how I love. And so I'm right in the middle. Okay. I'm like, light and airy photographers consider me dark and moody. I'm definitely more moody. Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, I know, because you know my work. Like, you probably would consider it
beautiful,
moody.
Lovely.
Yeah, and it's like, just because I include like the shadows. Okay. And, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's a little bit of everything in terms of, like, I have color, I'll have greens, and, you know, some photographers are very like, they only want to shoot at these locations because those are their exact colors. Oh. You know what I mean? And
it looks good on their feed.
And it looks good. It's all about the 9 squares. Like, that's it. And it's really hard not to get caught up in that because that's like the biggest form of marketing right now. But what I try to think of is like, this is for my clients ultimately.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does that like affect who
it's a lot.
books you? Because do people like,
it kind of plays with your head.
That's not my style.
Yeah. And people, I mean, think about it, you're scrolling. If you like it in the 9 squares, you know, in the feet, you're like, okay,
then I'll look at the website.
That's it. And that's, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I don't shoot only at certain places or only allow my clients to wear certain colors just to make it look cohesive on Instagram. And some photographers do. Like, it's in their contract.
Whoa.
You can only wear...
I would get fired from all of them.
I considered
those holy jeans that you put your kids in do not fly with my aesthetic.
It's tempting because, like, you know, you just think about, like the beach and then, like, only neutral colors.
Yes.
Like, oh, it's beautiful.
Yes.
And it's, like, calming. So I'm not to that extent.
Okay.
But I do have certain colors that I advise.
Okay.
Like so I try to, like, gently guide.
Okay, because that was one of the things that I always get wrapped up. Like, how do you decide what to wear?
It's the hardest.
I want to feel comfortable and like beautiful, and I'm surrounded by all boys, and they have very limited nice clothing. Yeah. So how do you like tell people what to wear?
Getting our pictures done, like
you personally, your family,
our family, like that is so eye-opening to me. How hard it is for clients. Like, I tell my clients all the time, like, this is harder for you than it is for me. Like,
so hard.
I get it, and you're all like, I feel like you roll up to your session sweaty, right?
And you're like, I hope I picked out
like,
right.
oh my god, your hair and your makeup, you're like trying not to smudge.
Yes.
But okay, so what I do with my clients is start with like, what kind of vibe?
Okay.
And when I say vibe, I mean like, do you want to be casual? Because casual is okay. Like holy jeans. You could totally do that.
My boys would be okay.
You could do that, yeah.
Because I think we have one pair that doesn't have holes in it.
So you just have to decide, like, do I want to be more casual? Do I want to be romantic? Like, you know, like the big flowing dresses and like the puffy sleeves. Like that's like the romantic
puff sleeves are my thing.
Right?
My thing.
I mean, I love
a good puff sleeve
right now.
Yes.
Like, I love the romantic vibe.
Okay.
So you pick your vibe, and then I recommend picking your color palette. And what I've done is I've broken down the color wheel into like the 3 palette. Have I talked to you about this before?
No.
I know. Look,
I haven't.
So cool. Huh?
I think the last time you took pictures, it was like, we're going to go white.
I think that was the easiest, right? Yeah. So I like just looked back at what I usually recommend and the pictures that I love and like what complements everything the best. And so I broke down the color wheel into the 3 palettes that I think photograph the best, like work with my style specifically. So I broke it down to like neutral palette, earthy, and pastels. Ooh. So like think like
I love all of those.
I know, and then you like what season is it? Mm-hmm. So you may not do
your location.
Pastels in the fall. You certainly can, but in the location. So so pick your palette based on the season, the location, and then from there, you can like pick a pattern that you love. Like I think. The other big thing is start with mom. Because you're the most important one. We are the most important ones. We need to feel good.
Yes, 100%.
We need to feel good. And like, I would look at pictures from the session of our family. If I didn't like how I looked, my kids could look gorgeous. They could be smiling and laughing.
Picture.
I wouldn't like it. I would be like,
I don't even look at my kids.
Look
at myself.
Yeah, I'm like,
that chin.
Nice chin. Yes, the chin or the like the neck hunch or something like. So it's really about mom's outfit. I think. Like pick something that you feel gorgeous in. And then go from there. And like plan around. So if you have a pattern, try not to mix pattern. Like there's so many smaller rules, but start with the vibe. Color palette. Mom's outfit.
Now, when someone books you, do you send them like a resource?
I do. So I send them Pinterest board links. So on Pinterest, I've made boards for each palette, and it's also on my Instagram highlights. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I send the links, and I say start with the palette, like pick your palette. Then I actually outsource the styling. There's a company. This is like such a genius idea. You're gonna die. These women started a company called Style and Select. And it's a styling service for photographers to use with their clients. Isn't that amazing?
That's brilliant.
I send the link, and then you can like you enter in your colors, you enter in the family members, their
like
ages,
their
genders,
sizes.
their sizes.
Oh my gosh.
And then they pick all these outfits, like, and links to the outfit to buy online.
Like, here, go to H&M, get this shirt.
Like, so it'll say, like,
gosh.
Dad's outfit, and it'll have, like, I don't know, 20-something different shirts or whatever, and then, like, Mom's out, you know, and then you pick it, and you make, like, your own Pinterest board. It's really cool. We could get really into it.
Oh, we're going to have to play with this
later.
But
that's something, it's really neat.
Also how brilliant that someone created this job for themselves. You love fashion. Yeah. I love that.
And it's nice to be able, because that's the number one thing that everyone stresses about is outfits. So it's really nice for me to be able to say, like, I have something for this.
It's
like,
done
here,
for
this,
you.
This helps, yeah. And then if you're
so
shooting,
cool.
it's really cool. And if you're shooting in my studio, I have client closet for moms. Okay. Not for anyone else in the family. It's just a little hairy having everybody, but just for moms, like, I've started a client closet for the dresses.
So cool. Yeah. Do you have a favorite thing to shoot, like maternity, wedding, family?
You know, I was thinking about this. I love newborn.
Okay.
I love newborn. Like, it's just...
That's where I met you. She did my newborn shoot for my middle.
I love newborn. There's something with the babies. And, like, just, like, becoming a mom. And what's interesting is I started photography thinking I was only going to do weddings.
Oh, interesting. Like, but you're so good at family.
I hated shooting families at first.
Oh, really?
Did not like it. I had no kids, and I was a teacher. Mm-hmm. So I went from teaching full-time, trying to, like, wrangle,
That's right. I think I cut you
kindergarten
off.
Students.
How did you leave teaching? For photography.
Do you want me to go back to that?
Yeah, maybe. I think I cut you
off.
Now.
You want me to go back right
now?
Yeah,
sure.
Okay.
You left. You were teaching.
So, okay. I had...
You had your camera.
Had my camera. Was still teaching full time. And then started doing it on the side. Like, I found a mentor. A photography mentor. And the way I did that is I actually reached out to my wedding photographer and was like,
brilliant.
This is so random, but I'm interested in photography. Do you have any online courses? Like, I was really thinking I'd have to go back to school.
Yes.
And I had no idea it was a thing, like photography mentorships or coaching.
Oh, that's so cool.
So she recommended a friend of hers, Katie Fitzgerald, and she showed me all the basics because I had no idea. Like, I knew how to point and shoot. I didn't know. I wasn't doing it right.
And the whole, like, booking clients and
that
your
was
gallery.
Like totally,
oh my goodness.
That was way later and more online courses and all of that and like everything. But I think what actually prompted me leaving teaching was having the kids. So I had Kate and didn't want to go back.
Yep.
And then I think my district hated me because I had Kate. I was on maternity leave. And we accidentally got pregnant with Nolan. And I was...
Oopsie, can't go back.
And it was so perfect. Like, the other teachers really thought I planned it because just the way it worked out.
Yes.
I, like, got pregnant so that my due date was the day we were supposed to go back for the following
Oh, my God. Divine timing, though,
so, like,
right?
Yeah, and
like,
I took...
Someone was telling me, don't go back.
Exactly. And I took an unpaid leave for Kate. And so... didn't finish out the teaching year, was very pregnant, went through the summer, and then my maternity leave started just the way like district works.
So
like
perfect.
I got to have a second year of a maternity leave.
Yes.
And it was during that time that I told my husband, like, look, I don't want to go back at this point. And look at how far I've been able to take this while pregnant. Like 2 different pregnancies.
With a kid.
2 different babies.
Yeah.
I think I can really like make this full time if I put all of my attention to it. So that's when I quit my job, and then COVID started. COVID happened.
So perfect.
It was so great.
It hasn't been an easy
timing.
road.
Yeah.
No.
It's been
like on paper you can just be like, oh, she quit. She's this great photographer, but there was work involved in all of that.
As I was growing as a photographer, I was becoming a mom, and I had no idea what I was doing.
Rocks your world, right?
Oh yeah.
We could talk all day about that. Okay, so then going back to when you first started, you didn't love family photography
because I didn't understand. I don't think you really get it.
You don't get it. You don't.
Because I would go to these sessions and I would be like,
why is this kid jumping off the couch?
She's not listening. Oh my gosh! Like what? And then
Mom,
as a teacher,
yes.
I'd want to intervene and like use my own methods.
Yes.
And I can do that, obviously.
Yeah.
So then I had kids, and I was like, oh my gosh.
I get it
this
now.
This is so hard.
Yeah.
And that changed, like, everything changed. It changed, like, just how I handle sessions, my expectations, and then also, like, just being a mom and family meant so much more than it had to be. Like, it was just,
or those precious newborn pictures, like, this is a tiny snapshot in your motherhood journey, and I can get that for you.
I think because there was a time when we were trying for our oldest that we didn't think we'd be able to have kids. So, like, going through that, and then we had some health scares with Kate, like, it was so much more meaningful. Like, everything just felt so, like, powerful. You know what I mean? And so being able to go to a newborn session and then hearing those mom stories, like, we actually, it took us this long to get pregnant, or we, went through this during the pregnancy, whatever it was, like, I was able to connect with them through that. And so, like, just knowing those things and being able to capture those moments for them of, like, the baby snuggle on our chest,
like how much more precious
breastfeeding,
that is.
like they'd say, like, it's been so hard breastfeeding, and then, like, baby's breastfeeding, just like
so
sweet. And it's like so meaningful. I don't know if you noticed 2 of those pictures up there.
Oh yeah, are from when Jet was a baby. All of a sudden today, I was like, oh my gosh, those are Bethany's pictures. Like, he's going to kindergarten next year. This is wild. This is crazy.
And you're never gonna get the time back.
I did not do newborn pictures with Ronan.
Yeah.
And I am so sad about it. Like, I took my own pictures, and clearly there's a difference.
It does make
Hence why we hide their professional.
It does make a difference, yes.
Okay, so we have our outfit. We picked out our photographer that we like. Let's talk about timing for pictures. So I'm guessing your busy time is fall.
Yeah.
So I generally start thinking, like, October, November. Oh, shoot, we need to get that picture taken. Did I wait too long? How soon do we need to start booking our photographers?
You're the client. I would have to
turn
away. I would have to say, I'm so sorry.
But we know each other, right?
I know. Yes. That does happen. I feel like it's gotten a little nuts because you fill up so quickly. Like, I have had people reach out in January saying, okay, can I book for the fall?
Wow.
And, like,
that mom deserves an award because I don't even think about it.
She missed out the last 2 years.
Okay.
So she's like, can I do it now?
And I knowing you have kids, so it's like your schedule is around when you can get childcare. So it's,
So it gets a little, it's a little nuts to me because I feel like that's so early. Your schedule, who knows what their fall schedule is, like, in January.
Right.
So I would say, like, August, September.
Okay.
September is at the latest.
Okay, so summertime
July, August, really.
Start reaching
September is, like, you're
filling up.
If you have a favorite photographer, they're probably booked. Probably. If it's a newer photographer, they might have a little bit more availability because they're, like.
But this is so great to know because we all wait. I know. We all wait.
And I'll, like, put it out my stories and put it out my story. Yeah. And I think people think it's just, like, a marketing ploy.
You're
now.
Like, no,
they're like,
I'm serious.
Like, no, she just is trying to get us to book, and it's like, no, it's gone. And it like fills up so fast.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I usually am able to take people on, and I'll just say, like, I'll just squeeze them in. And this year, I just said, no, I can't do it again.
Well, you have 4 kids.
And you're killing yourself trying to, like, edit. And I remember when I had Nolan, so Kate's 1. And
oh my God.
Then
how did you do it?
It was wild. I don't know. It's
a blur.
I don't remember that much of that.
It's like a lot of motherhood. It fades.
It's Yes. Yeah. And Nolan was like a few months old and, like, breastfeeding.
I think that's probably when you came to do Maverick's pictures because I think you were breastfeeding him at the time.
I think so.
And we were like, we got to wrap it up. She's got to go.
And I would just go edit. Like, I'd get him down, and he'd be like,
so tired,
just breastfeeding all day. What's it called? Cluster feeding.
Yes.
Like, he was a big cluster feeder. Yes. So I've learned to set the boundaries, and I think that's what's hard for people to understand. Like, it's not hard
just
to
at your beck and call.
Yeah. And my clients are so respectful. I have a really good group of women now who, like, work with me pretty much every year.
Okay. So you bring on photographers to help do shoots with you.
I do, but I mean, like, the women, just my
you
clients.
mean clients?
Yeah,
clients,
like,
okay.
I just have
Well,
moms
we're moms,
who are,
we get it.
like,
well, that's probably why you now
comfortable.
like doing the family shoots, because you're like, they all know me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still do weddings?
I do weddings, but every year I have the same, like, inner debate of, do I want to keep doing weddings?
Okay.
Because there's so much involved.
It's a huge endeavor. Yeah.
Before and after. Like, the editing. If I could shoot a wedding and hand off the editing to someone else, that's fantastic.
One day maybe you will.
And I have done that before, and it's great, but, like, you still have to go through. People don't realize either, like, the hours it can take to upload the photo, because you have thousands of photos. Yeah. So I'm uploading it, and now I have to also send those photos to someone to edit. That takes time, like picking the ones that they're gonna, so there's just a lot involved in weddings. So I don't know, I'm only taking on a few this year, like, for friends.
Okay, well, when we get off this, I'm going to schedule you for October. I'll remember to do that. Okay, so we've booked our photographer, we've got our outfits, we've made it to our location. What are the tips that you recommend?
Okay, so
how do we make things look good?
I know. All leading up to it, there's one thing, I actually haven't talked about this on Instagram yet, but, like, taking out your phone and showing your family the photographer's work. Like, showing your kids. So you're setting them up to know what to expect.
That is so great, because I normally we're going to this trail, so my boys start grabbing sticks thinking we're, like, on an adventure. I'm like, no, we're staying clean and we're smiling.
And they're like, what?
Oh, that's a great idea.
So just showing the kids, and that also helps if you have kids who are shy or, like, a little more sensitive, or just, you can show them my picture, like, show them your photographer's picture. This is who we're meeting. Her name is Miss Bethany, and show the picture. This is what she's going to ask us to do. And, like,
that's such a great idea.
So show them that, and then also, like, separately show your husband, because you want your husband to understand. Guys,
this means a lot to me.
Like, this means a lot, but also, like, they're used to JCPenney portraits. You know what I mean? Like, think about when we were growing up.
Hands in the pockets.
Your mom took you to JCPenney.
Yes.
And you, like, sat and smiled. Or, like, took pictures,
like,
or whatever.
By the tree.
Yes.
The tree trunk. The senior pictures.
Yeah. And, like, so that's what they're expecting. And dads don't like not being in control. Okay. And they don't like not knowing what to expect.
Because right now the style is more, like, candid.
Playful, yes.
Catching you in the moment. I love that look. Of, like, a snapshot in time, not posing for the family photo.
And, like, and I'll do those superposed ones, but then I'm also gonna say, like, turn and whisper something.
Do those end up being the favorites?
They're so cute. Yes, and I think what the dads come in not understanding, because I see their faces and I just go, like, what?
Like,
that's
always so awkward. When
I know.
When Jake's like, we're like, what do we say?
I know. And so, like, just prepping the dads, because the dads, as the parent, the mom and the dad, you're setting the vibe, right, for your whole family. So, like, if dad is in a downer mood, the kids pick up on that. And, like, I can't tell you how many sessions I'm like, if only I could have gotten the dad to be more engaged. And usually
it's
I'm
just
able,
awkward for them.
And usually I'm able to get them comfortable, and, like, they do relax, like, and they say, like, okay, like, this is fun, you know. But sometimes there's those dads who they're uncomfortable feeling, you know, they feel like they don't know what's expected of them. So it just kind of, like, puts a cloud over the session. Wow. And you can see it. And you can see it on mom's face. Yeah. You can see
because we are so stressed out.
Because you're kind of like, please, honey, just, like, please, just relax. Come on. Like, don't be in a bad mood, or don't be rude to her, or whatever it is. And so, so prepping dad, and it can be the quickest little, like, before you go to bed or before your session, like,
I love the idea of showing pictures.
Yes,
like, this is what I'm going
because
for.
Because if you tell them, hey, she's going to ask us to play Follow the Leader, he's going to be like, what? You know? So show them.
I love that. You play Follow the Leader?
I have done that before,
See, I'm telling you, this is why she's the professional.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm trying to think, because you had mentioned a couple of things I said on Instagram, so I was trying to remember what else.
I remember you said, do not put your kids in clothes until you get there. And I'm like,
Yes.
Brilliant. Yeah. Because I think mine spilled on
Packed
themselves.
Up your clothes. Yes. If you
especially
kids
with
are
littles.
spillers. Yeah. If they're older, like I think even Kate and Nolan now, I'll put them in their clothes, but then I'll only give them crackers. So keep it like, bring the outfits.
I mean, not the chocolate in the car that they get on their white shirt.
Bring the outfits. It's happened. And I'm always like, no. So bring the outfits, have them change in the car, or get them changed.
Probably definitely feed them before, so they're not cranky. Them
or bring snacks. But if you bring snacks, bring like crackers. Bring non-messy ones, or nothing too brightly colored, because I'll actually let kids. Yeah, and I'll actually let kids like eat, I don't know, Teddy Grahams or whatever it is during the session. But if it's like a bright red gummy bear, you're gonna see it, and I can edit it out.
My first thought was gummies. Bring gummies.
Yeah, I know.
Don't
and
bring
a lot
gummies.
Of people bring gummies. Yeah,
because you think, they won't.
Or
be
bring
messy.
only the white ones, I guess. Pick it out. But yeah, and
oh my gosh.
so yeah, bringing snacks, and then the other thing is just like go into it, relax, and it's so easy to say, right? Because I don't go into my sessions relaxed.
No, I'm stressed, I'm sweating.
I
do a lot of this, like don't do that, talking without.
And that's actually
opening my mouth.
You don't want to discipline during your session. Like, so what I try to do is help the parents redirect.
Okay.
So like,
because my boys are crazy, and you have taken pictures,
and
of
they're
them.
not.
They are. So I feel I'm so embarrassed every time because I'm like, they are wild.
But that's the thing. You're stressing, and I'm like, listen, I'm a mom. I get it, and this is my job.
These are going to turn out great.
Yeah, and this is so like, I don't want moms to stress because, I can say that as many times as.
So just say, this is not the worst I've seen. That would make me feel better.
I tell clients like, this is normal. This is totally normal.
Because I bet the kids are feeling a little bit like, this is different. This is weird.
But if they have
mine feel like they're putting on a show, I think.
And they kind of show off a little bit.
Yeah. And
if they have an
just
idea
be
what
cool,
to expect,
kids.
Yeah. And just like, instead of, I'm trying to think of an example, like if I'm saying, give mom a hug, and instead they want to like jump on you.
Bear hug, wrestle.
Jump on her. Like go, and your job isn't to be like, if you do this one more time, because that's what I want to do, right?
That's what I would do.
If you do this one time,
you are not getting those gummies.
A donut, like, and the donut, like the ice cream bribe only works so long. So like, try not to discipline, try not to get mad, and just try to like, okay, honey, like instead,
a gentler hug.
Let's run around, like let them run around. Or
I did see one that you did where the kids were doing like ring around the rosies
let them
on
run
mom,
around them,
and I'm like, oh my god,
or throw them up, because kids they don't want to stand still. And if you tell them, like, think about it.
No,
if you tell them stand still, yes, with Nolan, with my 3-year-old, I have to. I remember I was trying so hard to get like a group photo of all 4 kids on the ground, like so I'm up above them.
Oh, so cute.
And he was not. He would just roll away. And so I finally said, you know what? You can't be in the pictures. And he immediately got back in. So they're gonna want to do the exact opposite. So go into your session knowing your kids probably aren't gonna listen, and your photographer knows that. But pick a photographer who you see that on their
who has 4 children
website
who will get the perfect picture for you.
Pick her. Pick me.
So what about? Oh, go ahead.
Well, I think it's really important to look at their work beforehand, the photographer's work, and see, are they only posting or sharing on their portfolio the perfectly still smiling pictures, like traditional, or are they showing like the playful ones? If that's what you're looking for. Like,
because that's what my kids would need.
But make sure you see, if you're hiring a wedding photographer and you don't see as many pictures of like families, they might not have the same experience with families or with kids. So make sure you're like, you look at their work and see if they are someone who works with kids a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so my oldest is almost 9, but he acts like he's 16.
Yeah.
What do you do with like the older kids that are kind of like, I'm too cool for this? Like,
you roll with it. Okay. You like roll with it.
Do you get a lot of like older kids?
I get mostly
because I feel like the family
kids,
photography, I feel like they're so cute when they're little.
I know.
When my boys are teenagers, am I going to be like,
but that's
hey boys,
too,
let's
because
go.
Like you want
that.
Yeah, you want that. And I love like
do it for your mother.
I know. And I said that before, like, this is for your mom. Like she birthed you. Yeah.
I won't
go
into the whole story about how bad that was for me, but
and I think though when I've tried that, it didn't work saying that. So what I've learned is to roll with the attitude.
And just get those.
And moms, keep in mind, you don't need everyone smiling. Like some of my favorite pictures of me with my kids, my son's looking off in the distance.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, my daughter, you know, they're
like,
not
you don't
smiling.
have to force it.
Yes. Like, so let him just not be smiling. Like, let him, like, I would say lean into you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because the worst thing you can do too is say, like, come on, your real smile. Come on, your real. And
then they're like this.
That. No, and then they realize,
it's awkward.
oh, I look weird, and so now they're self-conscious, and like, you know what I mean? It's like this, like,
I never thought of it that
way. I know,
way.
and no, we don't. Because I think I've probably said the same thing to my kids, like, come on, your real smile, and now they're like, oh, it's super self-conscious too, or they're irritated. So you're not saying that. Just don't say that at all. And roll with the attitude, like, and don't even bring up the attitude, because again, it's just gonna make them more like intense. Bristly. So just,
I feel like going into pictures, I'm going to totally change my mindset.
We need to do a session, like right now, like right after this.
Good thing my kids aren't home right now.
I know.
But
I feel like we need to put it into action.
We don't have any nice outfits right now.
But I think rolling, like, just go with it and let them be them. And I think that's the best thing that you can do.
Oh, yeah. I should, because looking back in 10 years, I want to see that crazy Ronan. I want to see silly Jet. I don't want oh, remember how perfect you were in that picture, because that's not who they are.
And those are my most challenging sessions. If I had to pick a session between the kids are crazy, but the parents totally trust me, and they're like, let's keep going and let's like play, and they go along with my prompts and everything, I would pick that session with the crazy kids over the kids who maybe they're trying to act out, but the parents are so like frustrated and stressed, and they keep intervening and interjecting, and so then we're not really getting into a flow. Like, I pick the crazy kids. Yeah.
Well, you can have mine.
There you go.
Okay, so have you had any like most memorable shoots gone wrong, anything like crazy stories that you're willing to share?
I don't feel like I have anything too crazy, but as far as the clients, it was more me. So I was shooting a wedding, and it was the first wedding after my like maternity leave that I had given myself with the twins. Okay. So I'm back shooting.
That's a big day.
It is
like
a big
full day.
Yeah,
with
like a full day, and it was
home.
far away, so it's like a 12-hour day.
Wow.
Ish. And outfits. Like, think about what you wear. You know, like getting back into non-postpartum pants.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just super self-conscious.
I feel so uncomfortable. Yes.
So, I'm in my outfit.
And you're still pumping and...
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
So, I'm in my outfit. I think I'm, like, just not, you know, trying to get in a good headspace and shooting a wedding. Wedding's going great. Like, now we're towards the end of the day. I'm doing the bridegroom pictures. I squat down. Do you see where this is going? I squat down to get an angle, and I hear, like, it is like something out of a sitcom.
Oh.
My pants split.
Oh,
like,
no.
not just like in the crotch, like totally up the butt.
And you don't have like a sweatshirt to tie around your waist.
And what are you gonna? And I was like, it was like,
did everyone hear?
It was like a nightmare. Well, thank God. It was just like the couple. They were kind of far away. My second shooter, my sister. So
like, get behind me.
I was like,
get behind me.
Megan, my pants just. Oh my God. And luckily I had a jacket in the car, and it was cold, so I was able to like put on. It was like a long one.
Okay.
So it covered it. But like. Like, it was still.
Here I am, postpartum feeling.
I felt so self-conscious and so just like icky.
Yeah.
And then have that happen, and then I have to keep shooting. I can't take away from. We're trying to shoot.
Just gonna stand here in the corner, everyone. This is a great angle.
Yes, I mean, like you only have so much time before the reception, so now I'm like, it was
no
awful.
Change of clothes, of course.
Change of clothes. But now I bring a backup outfit to every wedding.
Okay.
Just in case, because someone could spill on you, anything like that. So I always have a backup.
Oh my gosh.
But that was like the worst. It felt like that bad dream where like all your teeth fall out, or you walk in the room and you realize you're not wearing any clothes.
I bet you could still hear that sound.
Oh, I can. It was so traumatizing. It was so awful. Yeah. That was the most embarrassing.
Now I know I hired you to take pictures of me in my bathroom.
Yeah.
Let me give you the backstory. So I started a potty training business.
That sounds kind of risque.
Yeah,
but it's not. It's
and I was like, I need to have professional pictures for my website.
Yeah.
So I email Bethany. I say, Bethany, I have this idea. Could you take pictures of me in my bathroom? And your response was, I love it. Absolutely. I'll be right there.
Yeah.
Have you gotten
I think I said, like, sure, tomorrow? Yeah. I think I'm around.
When can we shoot? And they turned
the twins were little.
They turned out fabulous. Like, they are on my website.
Do love those.
I love
You had good
them.
light. You had really good light.
Oh.
That's why.
Well, see, I know nothing about lighting.
That's
so I was like, Bethany,
we could go into a whole nother podcast.
Bathrooms are a great place for pictures, if you're wondering. Have you ever had any other, like, weird requests? Or are they all usually like, we like the beach, go to the beach?
Yeah, I don't know that. I think yours is the weirdest.
Yes, that's what I was going for.
I was trying to think about, like, if I've had anything out of the ordinary like that.
Okay.
I don't think so. It's more like I've had people do in-home sessions and not think about their lighting and, like...
Well, I don't know anything about lighting.
Yeah.
So if you were like, do you have good lighting? I'd be like, yeah. I've got these fluorescent lights on my kitchen ceiling.
Yeah.
That would be hard.
It's a little tricky. But I don't think I've had... I've had someone want to do a shoot for their dog. Like, just the dog.
Oh.
And that's not...
Add that to your
that's
resume.
Not weird, but it's just,
not what
different.
you're used to doing.
And I actually don't think I ended up doing the shoot, but that would be, like, the most off-the-wall request.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually had that picture. So I used your pictures on TikTok.
So good. Yeah.
But on TikTok, they got me in trouble because
Really?
it's my son. I think he's shirtless and one he's in underwear because we're potty training.
Which I'm
They're
glad,
very professional.
That TikTok is...
But then I was like, oh, I kind of got like
safety thing.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, like this is good to know.
That's
like
nice
even though it's a
TikTok
professional,
is on it
yes,
a little bit on the ball.
But for a while, I was.
You know what? I did do a shoot for Heinz, the ketchup.
I was like,
brand.
Like the ketchup?
Yes.
Ooh.
But for an influencer. Like, so I work with an influencer.
Got it.
And they needed some pictures. And then, like, so.
Like a paid promotion?
Yeah.
And Heinz.
So we did it. And they had to have the ketchup bottle. Ketchup. I say ketchup weird, so I'm all self-conscious about how I say ketchup, not ketchup.
Catsup?
Ketchup, yeah. It had to be in every picture.
Oh my
so
gosh,
that was actually, that was a little harder. Because that took some challenge. I'm not really.
It's not your everyday.
I'm not a branding photographer, so I had to kind of think of. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Did you have to have like a hot dog?
Yeah. I think they had a toddler, so it was easy.
Okay.
We did it. I set them up in the kitchen,
like lunchtime,
eating whatever.
That's so fun.
Yeah, that was cute.
How fun.
That was fun.
Okay, so I do want to touch on like a totally different side of photography, from your perspective. Okay. So. When I and my friends are talking about photography, we're thinking like 20-minute session, this is how much it costs. But for you, you're a small business owner, you pay taxes, you have editing time, you book these clients, you were saying you're uploading these pictures. It's more than a 20-minute session.
Hot topic.
So like in a way, photographers I think feel like they have to justify their prices.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How do you make us, the clients, go, okay, no, this is my business. This is like, I don't make everything you pay me because taxes takes a lot of it. Like what?
I mean,
what do you say?
It's so hard. And I think I don't even know. Because, I've had people reach out wanting wedding photography and they were like, I was thinking like $100. I was like, and totally not.
Like they just haven't done their research.
If you don't know, you have no idea what it costs. And it's like, I've reached out for hair extensions. Have you ever reached out for hair extensions?
I have not.
I've never gotten any. But I reached out for hair extensions and I was absolutely blown away by the price. And like they break it down for you. Okay. But I was like,
okay, never mind. I'll keep my shortcut.
I was very polite. I made sure to be respectful because I'm like, that's someone's small business. But I wasn't prepared for that. So I'll get back to you when I can. When I can spend $1,000 on hair extensions. Wow, yes. And so I think, first of all, looking at other photographers in the area, like don't just reach out to a photographer, like one person, like look at other photographers to see pricing, get an idea.
Does it vary a lot? We're in Orange County. Does it vary a ton?
Yes, and I think that's what's hard too. Like as a photographer, there's a lot of variables that go into it, and so right now, some photographers I know are charging $650, and that's considered on the lower end.
Is this
for an hour session?
An hour session.
An hour
okay.
session. And I wouldn't say it's on the lower. It's like in the medium.
Okay.
Median.
Okay. That's like kind of the going rate, you'd say.
Around there.
Okay.
And then up to like $1,200 for an hour. So you can
That's a big range.
It's a big range. And then I still know other photographers who it's not their full-time job and they're charging $300, $400 for an hour.
Okay.
So what I want clients to understand, and I don't talk about it too much because I don't want to ever feel like I'm like it's pushing it down someone's throat.
But it's hard talking money when you're a business owner. Like, and I think too, as women, I don't know, like I feel like men are able to be like, I'm worth this much, so I'm going to charge this much. For
whereas
women,
if I do it,
like,
it's like an empowerment thing.
This is what I think I should charge, but like, what do you think? Should I pay? Should I charge? It's hard.
Yeah, and so it's a very expensive business to run. Like cameras run from an inexpensive camera is like $2,000, like a good one, to like that, much more.
How many cameras do you have?
I had 3. I sold one because I just was never taking it out. So 2 cameras.
Okay. Because I was wondering, like, do you use different ones for? Like,
I have back
indoor,
actually, I might
outdoor.
still have 3. No, I use the same ones. But so the camera, but then also the lenses. Lenses are as much as the camera.
Oh my gosh!
And then,
see, I didn't know any of this. I just thought 20-minute session. That's what she's charging.
A memory card, like think about a memory card can cost $50 to $65 for one memory card, and you go through one memory card, sometimes 2 in a session.
Wow!
So I have dozens of memory cards.
You must be so organized.
There's the gear. I am now. I wasn't in the beginning, but and then like the editing program that you use, and then the gallery delivery system.
Okay.
And then
and all of that is like you pay for. You have to
what you have to do for marketing, Instagram, like
your
all the
emails,
because I'm my own marketer.
List.
I have to make everything, so I have to use the programs to pay for those. But then I also have to take a course to figure out how to do the marketing.
Yes, right.
So then there's also just the education that I've had. You're talking thousands and thousands of
Which
dollars.
is, we don't see that side of it. We just see, I got an email saying you can book here and there's your gallery.
And the booking system, like you have to pay for the booking system that you're using and taxes. And then babysitting.
Who are your main babysitters? Do you have
so my mom and my sisters are incredible. And
my mom has my children right now.
I don't know how. I have so much. I just want to give the moms who don't live by family like a huge hug.
Me too.
Because I don't know how
I couldn't have done it.
I don't know how they do it.
I could not.
And then we have another sitter who is she started out as one of my sister's best friends, and then we became good friends, and then she started watching the kids, helping me when I was pregnant with the twins.
Okay.
So she's amazing. And
but that is factored into everything.
Paying, and my mom and my sisters, like, they have helped so much during the pregnancy, so they, like, have to, and they're working, so they can't babysit all the
time. And then you
feel
feel guilty, like, with my mom, I was like, I don't want to ask her if she'll watch the boys on a Saturday night, because I've already used her during the week. I feel guilty.
Yeah. So I've tried to use our actual sitter as much as I can, but paying for that. So it's hard when someone says, like, this is a very long-winded answer. I'm sorry.
No, but I think this is so important to see this side of photography.
Because I have people, very well-meaning people, say, I just need like a quick, just like a few pictures, and it's just not quick. It's the drive time, it's finding the time, talking to my husband, discussing our schedules, reaching out to the sitters, seeing who's available, the drive time, the shoot time, and then the editing time.
I was going to say, how much time do you spend editing pictures?
It depends on the session.
Okay.
It can be, sometimes if it's a really, I almost don't want to say because I don't want people to be like, oh, that's nothing. But you have
2 minutes, done.
I know. You have to,
filter on.
I've worked really hard over the last 6 years to get super consistent with my editing.
Yeah.
I have certain locations so that I know how to edit those
exactly
locations.
Where to shoot.
The location, yes, yeah. So it all goes into this. So I've had some sessions where I have been able to edit it in like 45 minutes, but then I have sessions that take hours. Yeah. So it just depends, and I've gotten faster as I've been working.
I like that
over the
perspective
years.
though. Like where to shoot. You kind of
like
got it down to a system.
And you're paying for that too. Like you're paying. You want someone
an expert
who knows how to shoot and can edit faster versus not. And
yes.
And then the other thing is just, you know, I have anywhere, like, let's say around a dozen clients a month. So I'm editing. There's always like clients in the queue, you know, so it's not like I can do your session tonight and I can edit it this week.
Yeah.
The way I have to work, some photographers do that, but the way I have to work, I have to, you know, slowly work through everybody.
Yeah.
So
Because we're all sitting there like checking our email every 2 seconds.
I
Like,
know.
when's it coming? When's
Yeah,
it coming?
yeah, exactly.
I remember how that was.
So I mean, on the low end, especially in Orange County, like a mini session is a couple $100 would be the lower end.
Do you like doing the minis versus?
I do like the minis, and
you can get a lot in.
You can. I can get, but that's something else that you're paying for. Like, so I can. I charge a lot now for my minis, but it's because I can get almost as much out of a mini session as I do a full session. And you have
that experience.
Because I have that experience. I know how to run the session. I know how to work with the kids and get the emotion and everything that I want. And so that's what you're paying for. You're paying for that experience. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I would pay you millions of dollars because you're
you.
that good. Well, we should probably wrap this up because I bet your babysitter needs to go soon.
Yes.
If you want to find Bethany, make sure to check her out on Instagram at Bethany Jean Photography or her website, BethanyJeanPhotography.com.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. This is so fun, and I'm going to have you back. Oh, I love chatting with you.
Thank you.
And for all those listening, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss next week's Momversation. And remember that everyone burns their first pancake, so just keep flipping.
So good.